We spend over a third of our lives sleeping, so why not spend a few minutes and actually learn about some ways to help you optimize this very crucial time in your day. Hey guys, I'm Soma and I've had a lot of problems with sleep, and so I've done the research, I've tried a lot of things out, and I've compiled all the things that I've tried out that worked for me into this video. So here are all the sleep hacks that you need tonight to help you get the best night's sleep that you possibly can. Now, before we begin, I do have to say this is not medical advice, this is just my opinion and it's for entertainment purposes only. But with that out of the way, let's get going with all of the hacks. And I've basically compiled all of these sleep hacks into 3 separate piles, or 3 separate kind of pillars of sleep that I find is a very consistent theme so that you can understand them better. One is your consistency and kind of what you do. The second is your sleep environment, specifically what we're going to be dealing with light here. And the third one is what you put into your body, or more specifically, what you don't put into your body. So to start things off with, consistency, this really just comes down to having a schedule. So having a proper schedule, because your body really appreciates you being consistent, because sleep doesn't happen like that. You actually need to kind of prepare the body, more or less prepare the body so that it can sleep, both hormonally as well as your circadian rhythm and all of that. So basically, if you can fall asleep and wake up at the exact same time every day, your body will appreciate that and it will reward you with being a lot more predictable with when you can fall asleep and how quickly you can fall asleep, as well as how deep you can actually sleep. Because if it knows that if it goes to bed, say at 9 p.m. and it wakes up, say, at 6 a.m., then it knows that it has that amount of time to sleep. However, if some nights you go to bed at 9 and wake up at 6, but then other nights you say go to bed at 12 and wake up at 8, well, now it doesn't know when is it supposed to actually wake up, when is it supposed to actually go to sleep, and so you're more or less confusing it. And you can really tie this in with actually having a nightly routine, a routine that you repeat every single night so that your body can go, oh, if this is happening, then this means sleep. So for me, a good nightly routine is I have my chamomile tea, I meditate, and so my body knows it is time to go to bed. But basically, your nightly routine can be anything other than the no-nos on this list. And if you're curious as to how to fall asleep like that, I've already made the video for you, so go check that out, or it's in the description below. And to help you out with your routine, I suggest taking a Chronotype Quiz. This will help you determine whether or not you're a night owl or you need to fall asleep and wake up earlier, because your body, based on your natural habits and based on your genetics, wants to do different things. This in theory makes sense because back in our tribal days, if I, say, went to bed early and woke up early, well, now I am kind of vulnerable in that time when I'm asleep. However, if some people, a night owl, stayed up until 1 a.m., well, now he's protecting me until 1 a.m. And so we have this, in theory, this genetic component to our sleep. So I've linked the best Chronotype quiz that I could find down in the description below. I highly suggest you guys check it out and follow some of their tips. They are really good, and I've been really enjoying the benefits that I'm getting from this Chronotype quiz. And how do I know I've actually made things better? Well, that is the next tip, which is to track your sleep. You really need to get some sort of a sleep tracking device if you truly want to hack your sleep, because this is possibly the single best investment you can make into your health. Because sleep is just such a crucial time of day, as well as sleep is honestly a reflection of how you are doing normally. As in, if you're getting consistently bad sleep, odds are there might be some other things wrong with your body. And whereas if you're getting really good sleep, odds are you're pretty healthy. Now, I personally suggest the Oura Ring. I have the video right here, or video in the description below. But honestly, for this purpose, any tracking device will do. I just want you guys to get in the habit of tracking your sleep every night. Because even if your tracking device is not the most accurate thing, as long as it's precise, meaning it shows the changes in your sleep as you're changing your sleep, So if you sleep well one night, it shows that you slept well. Whereas if you didn't sleep well one night, it doesn't show you that you slept well or shows you that you slept poorly. As long as it does that, it is good. Now, the next thing, and honestly, this is possibly the biggest thing other than to get a consistent routine, and that is blackout curtains. Now, this is the staple in basically every other sleep video, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but you definitely want to get your hands on some sleep curtains, on some blackout curtains. They are just so essential because any sort of light can and will disturb your sleep, especially in the morning, especially if you're not waking up at like 4 a.m. Because yes, there is an argument to be made for waking up with the sun like Richard Branson, but unless you're a multi-billionaire living on a private island, honestly, sometimes you just don't want to do that. As well as streetlights at night really can mess with your sleep. The next tip is to cover up all of the LED little electronic lights around your house and specifically around the room you sleep in. I thought this was kind of a weird and wacky one, but I actually tried it out and I do think that it worked a little bit, mostly because I had a lot of these LEDs around my room. Now, if they are red, they should be fine because red light isn't all that bad. But if it's any other color than red, I do suggest just sticking a little bit of tape over top of it so that you don't get disturbed by the light. The next series of tips will all be circling around eliminating blue light. Blue light is not the best for you if you're trying to sleep. That is because blue light affects your circadian rhythm by a lot. In fact, a lot of your circadian rhythm kinda depends on cues from light, specifically blue light. That is because there's a lot more blue light during the day, and as the sun starts to go down, there starts to be less and less and less blue light. Now, as you lessen the amount of blue light, you should in theory be getting to bed. And so lessening your blue light exposure, especially at night, especially right before you sleep, will really help you be able to capitalize on your circadian rhythm and help you actually fall asleep when you want to fall asleep. Now, I've got a few tips for you, and the first one is blue light blocking glasses. These stylish things are kinda sweeping the nation. I have been seeing more and more of these ads pop up on my feeds, and I think that is a very good thing. I've been using blue light blocking glasses for a while now, and I definitely notice the times when I do wear them versus the times when I don't wear them. Specifically, when I do wear them, oh my god, can I get to bed a lot quicker than when I don't wear them. As well as nights that I do wear them, I do tend to be a little more calm and relaxed near the end of the day. The next tip is actually to just start turning your lights off as soon as the sun starts going down, or maybe even install a dimmer switch in your room or in your house to kind of progressively dim the light as the night starts to wear on, because that way, again, you're giving these cues to your body to start putting you to sleep. Alongside actually dimming your lights, actually switching some of the very blue LED lights with something that's a little more on the red and orangey tint. And the last thing for blue blocking is probably the easiest, and that is just to get some sort of a blue blocking app on your phone. Basically, you just want to search up your device name followed by blue blocking or redshift, and it will show you how to turn that setting on. I believe it's called Flux in iPhone, but otherwise I'm sure there are apps for your device, whatever it is, because this is just such a standard thing the devices come with. And just turning this on at night around, let's just say 6 or 7 p.m. will go a long way in reducing your blue light exposure. And guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to just obliterate that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And finally, all the things you should or should not eat to get the night of rest that you want. To start, I want to talk about sleep pills. Now, though they are good if you're having a large amount of problems with sleep, I strongly suggest you try and wean yourself off of them, only because they don't really get you a good night's sleep, they just kind of make you shut down. And sleep is actually a very active process. You do a lot of things during sleep, and if you rely on sleep pills for too many nights in a row, then you start to actually not recover quite as much, making you rely on sleeping pills even more. The same thing kind of goes with melatonin, though it's not that bad, and actually having tracked my sleep with melatonin, it doesn't actually impact my sleep. I do notice the nights after I take melatonin, especially if I have taken it a few nights in a row, it's significantly harder to fall asleep, and that's probably because I essentially downregulated my natural melatonin production, meaning I don't produce as much melatonin, meaning I don't fall asleep as quickly. And this next one is huge. It's the biggest thing. I wish I could tell this to every single person on Earth. That is to not eat right before bed. It's just not good for you. You should probably not eat right before bed. Now, I know some people have late jobs and they need to eat late, and that is fine. But if you can avoid it, don't eat right before bed, and especially don't eat really heavy foods right before bed, like don't have a burger and then go to sleep. The main reason for this is because if you eat right before bed, that means you need to digest the food that you just ate. And that basically means that the energy your body could have spent, building your muscle, flushing your brain out, and kind of doing all of its processes, it's now having to spend all of that energy on digesting food that it could have digested during the day. And so I strongly encourage you guys to not eat 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. The other main reason for this is that if you don't eat 3 hours before bed, your body has enough energy to do what's called a brain flush. And that is basically when your neurons in your brain kind of shrinks, letting all of the bad accumulated toxins that happen because you're thinking kind of flush out and be flushed away from the brain so that it recovers a lot quicker. And that is why if you have a burger before bed, you're not going to be functioning at 100% the next day, because your brain essentially didn't get cleaned. Your brain essentially did not have the little cleaning service come in and spritz it down. It's just kind of sitting in its filth from the day before, or even the weeks before, if you do this again and again and again. Now, alongside not eating right before bed, I strongly encourage you guys not to have too much carbs or too much sugar later on in the day. That's because, obviously, sugar makes you awake, and carbs are mostly just sugar chains. And so, not having those has made a big impact, especially later on in the day, past 5 p.m. I usually try not to have any sort of carbs past 5 p.m. Alongside with this rule is no coffee after 5. I would say no coffee after 2, but I understand some people need their little caffeine later on in the day. But I strongly would encourage you guys to not have coffee past 5 p.m. I know anytime I do, my sleep suffers so much. The other thing you should probably not be drinking before bed is alcohol. Again, alcohol, it just makes it so that your brain can't clean itself. So it makes it so that your body needs to spend all that time processing the alcohol and essentially being poisoned by it and just being a lot worse for wear because of it. And so I know some nights it's okay, but if you're drinking consistently before night, every single night, that could have quite detrimental things in the long run. Now, this might not go for a small amount like a beer, a glass of wine, but definitely don't heavy drink right before bed every night. And the last tip that I have for you guys is lion's mane mushroom extract. This one is a secret weapon of mine. It helps me increase my REM sleep, and it just makes me so much more refreshed the day after I take it. I take the life cycle tincture, but I'm not going to go into this too much in depth because I'm going to be talking about this in my next video. So if you want to know all about lion's mane mushroom extract, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss that video, because it's gonna be a good one. If you've made it this far, definitely hit that subscribe button, because that way you're kept up to date and you're kept in the loop for all of the great content that I'm going to be putting out, all about being the best that you could possibly be mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that we can live a good, healthy, and happy life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.